Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you had a great first week of January. Whether it was productive or not, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, you decide on which pensum, on which time span you accomplish stuff. Because I know that some of us might feel pressure and be like, oh gosh, I mean, people have goals right now and they're so ambitious, and I'm still like uncertain, unclear on what I want to do. And if that's you, then I recommend my last YouTube video here, because I've touched exactly on that topic for you to gain clarity. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that you're late, although the year already started. So I just wanted to tell you that up front to comfort you. You're good. Yeah, it's not too late. So today I want to talk about a specific topic. Before I touch on it, I just want to explain that me talking about this is I'm personally going through it, right? I'm personally going through it and at the same time learning through it or learning about it. So today we're going to talk about the heart. We're going to talk about the heart. When I hear people talking about their hearts, I always feel like, oh, that's so cute. Like, kind of like romanticizing it, but not understanding that there is so much depth and power behind it. That's the thing. Like, our heart has so much power, more power than we actually think. We think that this is the most powerful tool in our body, but actually it's the heart. And as I heard about that, I was like, how though? Like, how does that make sense? I don't get it. Like, it's just the heart, It's just what you feel. It's just what you, I didn't know that much about the heart. That's the thing. If you don't know anything, or if you're uninformed on something, then you basically live in ignorance, not really knowing, right? And I've watched a documentation on this. I watched a few YouTube videos. I've listened to a few podcasts, so I can actually grasp this whole thing. And I'm going to link the resources down below, because I want you to go on this research with me or on this journey with me as well. So the podcasts that I've listened to are in German, and I'm not sure if there's the English version of it. I hope so, because the speaker in that case is actually, he's Austrian, but lives in Brazil and mainly speaks English. So all of his content is also in English, but I'm not sure about this, so I'm gonna research that. But right, so I watched the videos and consumed all the content on this topic, and had also conversations with friends about it who also grasp it more and more. And then I'm like, okay, so what does this mean at the end of the day? I understand that your heart is actually far more powerful than your head. Okay, what does that mean? That means that your heart is actually the control system of your body. Whatever comes into your heart filters, your heart filters everything, like the experiences, the hurt, the misbeliefs, and everything like that, and therefore sends the information into your brain. And I feel like nobody really knows that. I feel like we all know that our brain collects everything and then we make decisions, based out of our brain. But that, in that case, is when we operate mainly from our head, when we operate mainly from our heads, it's actually showing that we're disconnected to or from our hearts. And that doesn't really sound too dramatic, it doesn't sound great, but it also doesn't sound like, okay, I can live with it, so I'm not connected to my heart with, so what? I mean, I still have to exist in the society and work and pay bills and do this and do that, and I cannot really dream and build a life that I want. All lies that we're believing, because we're so conditioned into this thinking. We're so pressured into this, that we just have to function all the time. And it's also like, this functioning thing. I think that in the last quarter of 2023, I gave that up. I feel like I really surrendered on controlling my outcomes and circumstances because, fun fact, I can't. I mean, I'm not in control of anything. We're human beings. We're not in control of anything. Like we think we are, like we're holding on to something, we're holding on to people, we're holding on to money, we're holding on to this and that, and tell or like make ourselves believe and trick ourselves that we are in control. But then when the uncontrollable happens, we're devastated. Like, what is this? Life doesn't make sense. I want to give up. And you get this hate in your heart, you get this bitterness, you get this frustration, and you walk around with these feelings in your heart and through life. And the thing is, if you're walking around with those feelings in your heart, frustration, grief, anger, bitterness, resentment, anxiety, and this is how you walk through life, and it's all in your heart. Fact is that if you walk through life like this, the odds are pretty high that you are going to remain in that state. And now let's jump to faith, because there's actually a deep connection to this. And I'm still doing my research on everything, but I also research in my Bible because there are many verses on the heart, and I chose a few that I want us to go through together and just pick it out and just think, okay, what does this mean? What is the meaning and the depth behind it? Because the reason why I use the Bible as another research method or resource in that case is because it's God's word. It's what everything God put the truth in the Bible, so why not look into God's truth? So let me start with the first one. Okay, so above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Proverbs 4:23. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. I know that before I had this awareness, I just read through it and thought, sounds cute. Just sounds cute. Now that I'm more and more understanding the importance of it, I'm like, oh, okay, above all, guard your heart because everything flows from it. What does that mean, that everything flows from it? So that means the vibrations that you give out flows from it, like the vibrations from your heart. Then also, what does that mean? Flows from my heart. The way you act, the way you perceive people, the way you interact with people, the way you interact with life, and the way you interact with yourself even. Okay, so let's say I don't guard my heart. I walk into situations that are very traumatic, that are very heart-shattering, that are very bad just for my heart to see, feel, and experience. What happens? Okay, so I soak everything in. It's like the heart is like a sponge, It soaks everything in and keeps it in here. And now you experienced awful things, and everything is kept in here. And now that you've experienced these awful things and walked through life with it in your heart, you actually attract these things, and you perceive things to be like this. So if in your heart, let's say you have this misbelief that people are always greedy, then you will always meet people or perceive people. That's the thing. It's also about your perception. It's not always the reality that people are, but it's your perception. You try to it's also the saying, right? If you want to find mistakes on people, you will find mistakes. If you're really determined to find mistakes on people, you will find mistakes. And that's the thing with perception as well. So let's say you think people are greedy. So your perception will show you that everyone you come in contact with or live life with is a greedy person. And that just confirms your heart believing and thinking that. And this is how you go through life. Let's talk about unforgiveness. And that is a pretty deep topic. And I cannot go into detail because I'm still also learning about that. But I understand, like, from a partly superficial level, how important forgiving is. Because if you don't forgive people, you keep it in your heart as well, right? And then you keep it in your heart and you feel this bitterness, this resentment, and everything negative. My back hurts. Unforgiveness. Now you walk through life and something awful happened to you that made you hate somebody, and you cannot forgive them because they've done something so unfair, injustice, like they have done you injustice, and it's just like the worst of the worst. And you're like, I could never forgive that person. And let's put it that way. I mean, if you really got hurt and it was really unfair, then you're right to hate that person. But, and that's what also the Bible says, the typical saying, like, love your enemies. It sounds pretty like, oh, you're such a good being and you're such a good believer if you love your enemies, right? Just as, like, Jesus loved everyone, so you also love your enemies and yada yada. But actually, as God told us to love our enemies, he actually also intended for us to love them, not only because we're good beings in that case, but moreover because he knew that if we hate them, then the hate will actually keep our hearts like hard. We cannot let go and we're unhappy. So it's actually not just like to benefit the other person, but actually it's for yourself. Think about that. Hating someone is easy. Hating people is easy. You have so many reasons to walk through life hating and being unhappy. Multiple reasons. But does it benefit you? It doesn't. Let's take this one. So a cheerful heart is a good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. Proverbs 17:22. So a cheerful heart is good medicine. Interesting, why medicine? But a crushed spirit dries up the bones. A crushed spirit. You being unhappy, you being done with life, dries up the bones. It actually kills you from inside, It's drying you up. It dries your bones up. So a cheerful heart is good medicine. Why medicine? My assumption, my interpretation, not assumption, is that you, at the end of the day, can actually heal yourself. And it's also connected to your heart. Like, healing yourself isn't necessarily only a brain thing. It's about believing it here. You can believe things in your head, of course, but it actually starts here. And I feel like that there's not enough emphasis on this, of believing it here first. So what I've talked about with my friend, we were talking about a topic, and then we came to the conclusion, okay, wait a minute. So you heard this, your spirit knows that this is true. You know that this will happen. You don't have to worry. Okay, but how come you're still emotional and being led by your feelings? How come? Okay, so what if you actually believe it in your spirit, there's a knowing that you'll receive it, that everything will work out, but in your heart you can't imagine it. And imagination is pretty important as well. If you can't imagine something, then you can't really attract it or manifest it. So it's also important to not just believe in something and stop there, like pray for something. Now you believe it. Now, okay, like you know that it's going to happen, but you don't have a feeling. Like, how is it going to feel? Like, how could it happen? There's no sorts of like imagination. And that's when she said, okay, so what if we have to believe it in our hearts and write it on our hearts and meditate it on our hearts, like whilst meditation, put it, like writing it on our hearts, like repeatedly saying this. For example, if you try to like convince yourself that you're going to take that trip to New York, and you're like, yeah, I mean, it's possible. Like, I can just get a vacation from work and I can organize this. Like, it's possible. Yeah, I can do that. You believe it in your spirit. Like, yeah, it's possible. Like, there's nothing that can actually work against it. Like, of course, timing, whatever, but actually I can take that trip. But now you see, okay, time goes by and time goes by and time goes by, and you're still not taking that trip. Oh, I'm talking to myself right now. I'm talking to myself right now. So why isn't that happening? Although you know it's possible. Like, in your head, you know that is possible. It's not impossible. Why isn't it working? Maybe because you're not believing it in your heart, and you cannot imagine it in your heart. You cannot picture yourself there. You cannot picture yourself from your heart, like the perspective from your heart in this. So what if you have to sit for a few minutes, close your eyes and be like, okay, so how does this feel? Let me imagine this. Okay. And repeatedly say, okay, I'm going to be there, and actually like write it on your heart, like tattoo it on your heart. That's what I have to do myself, because I actually am planning to take a trip and I don't believe it in my heart that I'm going to do it. So that's why I said I'm talking to myself. But yeah, it's like we can get so many confirmations, but that something can happen, but if we don't believe it in heart, if we don't accept it, then it can't happen. Like, at the end of the day, we still have a free will, and we can always decide to do something else, although this door is already open for you. Let's talk about desires for a second. So desires are heartfelt things. We have multiple desires. So how can you actually like live your desires? How can these desires become reality? First things first, desires stem from your heart. It doesn't necessarily stem from your head. If you do, for example, if you see other people's lives, if you compare yourself, or if you have like outside influence, then it's like in your heart, it's in your head, and therefore you think, okay, that's also a desire, but actually it's more something that you saw from the outside and it inspires you, but actually it's not something that you deep down want. And that's why I also talked about it in my last YouTube video, like knowing your own desires and visions for life. So it's so easy to just pick out aesthetic and luxurious and nice, beautiful pictures and put it on your vision board, but it won't be personal. So it won't really reflect you. It won't reflect your heart. So your desires stem from your heart. Now I feel like in order for us to live out our desires and to experience them is by understanding what desires we have in our hearts, and then also acting upon it. So, you know, the other saying, there, like, faith without action is dead. And if you're not putting action towards it, then it won't really happen. So in Psalm 24, it says, "May he give you the desire of your heart and make all your plans succeed." I like that part because it's like the desire of your heart and make all your plans succeed. So desire of your hearts and make all your plans succeed. Meaning when it's your heart desire, then it is, oh, that's what I loved. When I heard that, I was like, oh, I love that. I'm really going to remember this forever and ever. A desire, like your own desire, your heart desire, is of God. So when you actually want to pursue your desires, aka when you want to pursue something that is in your heart and that is of God, He will actually help you to successfully, execute on this and receive this so that you succeed on your heart desires. And yeah, I mean, that's why I understand desires is way more significant than your wishes and wants, because wishes and wants change. Wishes and wants change as soon as you see an ad, but your desire is there from the beginning. Develops, of course, but it's there and it's actually of God. So He put desires on your heart for you to want them and strive for them, and He can help you to strive towards them to get them. And that's why, not only putting faith first and relying on faith only, but also putting action towards it. And I mean, it's easier said than done. I mean, I'm not the perfect executor and everything, but I'm learning to do so. And I'm also learning the softer approach and not the harsh, let me learn every Bible verse by heart. Let me pray consistently. And of course you should pray consistently. Let me take that back. But I mean, in that sense, to force it. What if there's a softer approach of you knowing that if it's a desire, it's of God, then you don't have to force it, and you can just sit still with it and just meditate on it, knowing, okay, this is my reality, this is what I want, this is what I will get, how will this feel, how will this look like? And just, envision yourself in it and cover it with prayer. So, see, do not leave prayer out, because prayer is so, so, so important. But that's a topic for another day, I hope. But yeah, so I realized that I'm also, the softer approach is not only for me trying to achieve my desires, but also my career and purpose. I dedicated myself, and it started last year, and I'm starting to see it and hear it from friends and just people that I interact with. They have this confidence about 2024, and that just makes me so happy, this good feeling that this year is going to be great, not only because it's a new year and a new you, but actually because that, okay, I understand who I am, and I'm tired of being a different version and not succeeding with it. Isn't it tiring to be someone who isn't you deep down, but only because it fits a certain image in society, and you realize you're not succeeding with it, and you're still pursuing and you're still going, and now you realize you don't have energy anymore. There's nothing that can it just seems so in vain, And I feel when these feelings come up and you realize I'm actually working against myself, then you should wake up and be okay, let me just stop right there. Nobody's forcing me to stay at that job. Nobody's forcing me to do this. Nobody's forcing me to stay in this toxic whatever. It's your decision. But you have to make that decision and change. If you just lost your job recently, I'm so sorry for that. But what if you should lose that job for you to finally take that leap of faith to pursue your purpose? Yeah. And if you don't know that much about purpose, or it's something that you're wanting to get get to know more of, then I'll have a whole series on purpose here, which you can watch. And I'll also link it down below in the description box. Your life will always feel pretty average and mediocre as long as you're still doing something out of your purpose. And I had a conversation with another friend yesterday, and that just made me the happiest. I cried, like we both cried, because it's like running from your purpose is such a typical phenomenon. And as soon as you stop running and just surrender to it and be like, you know what? I get so many people that tell me that I'm good at this, that they see me in this, and you just get so much love and confirmation, and you're still like every day deciding to do the opposite. One day you will reach your end and be like, this is not how I want to live. Like, I'm done. I'm fed up. And if you're at that point, congratulations. You can now make the decision to pivot. And you should pivot, because you should not continue living out of your purpose. And finding out your purpose, of course, is a whole journey in itself. I'm still figuring it out, although I know it. And whilst I know it, I'm still like trying to avoid it, because I know that my purpose is connected to people, influencing people, not being an influencer, you know, with beauty and everything, which not judging at all. I mean, I could do that. I could, but it's not my desire. My purpose comes with an assignment, with a burden as well. And of course I'm gonna run from this, because I'm like, don't I have enough responsibility already in my life? Purpose at the same time won't weigh you down. It won't be a burden in your life. It will actually be a blessing, but still come with sacrifices. And that's what you have to be aware of. Your purpose won't be pink and fluffy. It will, because I mean, the more you're in it and the fruits that you're seeing, okay, great, but you will still have to cut certain people out of your life. You might have to be more self-disciplined, and it just requires sacrifices to fully be and step into your purpose. And also you have to die to yourself daily, doing your purpose, like living your purpose. You have to die to yourself daily. What do I mean with die to yourself? It means that your will sometimes works against your purpose and what you should be doing. So you have to die on that and be like, you know what? No, I'm gonna not listen to this limiting belief. I'm gonna not listen to what my flesh wants to be doing right now. Whether it be, okay, let me just go out with my friends and party, whether it be, let me just, waste my money on things that I'm going to regret later. You have to die to that version day by day by day by day, and reflect and meditate on your purpose day by day by day by day. So it's hard. That's what I'm trying to say. It's hard. And that's why I feel majority won't really realize that they have to do so much work to get into purpose, and therefore not step into their purpose. And that's the worst thing that you can do to yourself. Life already has challenges. This is another challenge, but this is a challenge that is worth everything. Everything and everything and everything. So let me cut this video here, because we can talk about this forever. And I just hope that this resonated with you in any way, shape, or form, from the heart topic, the purpose topic, and whatever else I said in between. Because I just really want you to realize how significant our hearts are, and that we should really, really protect our hearts. And protecting our hearts also means what we consume, the visuals that we see, because it's impacting us and having an effect on us. So be careful what you consume, be careful what you let into your heart, be careful what people you let into your life, be careful what feelings you have towards people that are negative, just always guard your heart, and also meditate on your desires, because your desires are of God. And yeah, that's that. So thank you so much for watching. And if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell to be notified each time I upload. Last but not least, yo, I haven't announced this. Like, am I okay? It's just a lot of things are going on right now, and that's why I'm like, but let me tell you guys, I started this whole vision of creating a podcast and inviting people that share their stories, that are vulnerable and change your world perspective and redefine your personality and all that. I have a podcast called Redefine Talks, and it has a new
you said
launch,
he's your mentor, right?
like
Yeah.
a
Like still
new
is.
update, let's
I
say.
feel like
And this time I invited guests and interviewed them on various topics. And yeah, I mean, I'm going to launch them on my YouTube channel as well. So every now and then you're just going to see like interviews in my timeline. So please, if you like these interviews, watch them, listen to them on Spotify, also get inspired there. So this is another community and platform that I'm building, and I'm just so passionate about it and so happy about it. And yeah, so perhaps I'm also going to document that journey if you want to. If so, then let me know in the comments. And talking about comments, comment down below how this video resonated with you. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and until next time then, bye.
Give it a good